Welcome back, everyone. I'm here, and let's get right into today's video. In today's video, we will be looking at 3 short creepy past stories from people just like you. So, if you're ready, let's get right into the video. The first story is called The Man in the Closet. When I was 8 years old, I hated bedtime. Not because of the dark or monsters under the bed, but because of the closet. I always felt like someone or something was watching me from inside. At first, it was little things. The door would be open an inch even after I swore I shut it. I'd hear faint scratching, almost like fingernails dragging against wood. My parents brushed it off. It's just your imagination, they'd say. But the noises grew louder. Some nights, I'd hear low whispers, too muffled to understand. Then one night, during a thunderstorm, I woke to the closet door creaking open by itself. My heart raced. I pulled the blanket over my head, but the sound of heavy breathing filled my room. When I peeked out, lightning lit up the room, and I saw him. A tall, hunched man crouched in the corner of my room. His skin looked gray, his arms too long, and his eyes glowed faintly in the dark. He scraped his fingers along the floorboards, tilting his head slowly, as if studying me. I screamed, and my parents rushed in, but when the lights came on, nothing was there. Years later, when we finally moved, my dad confessed something he had never told me when he was a child in that very same house. He too saw the man in the closet, and he still has nightmares about him. Our next story is called The Imaginary Friend. When I was 6, I had an imaginary friend named Daniel. At least that's what my parents thought. I would spend hours in my room, whispering and laughing into the corner. My parents thought it was harmless pretend play, but Daniel wasn't like other imaginary friends. He told me secrets. He told me he used to live in the house before us. He told me he didn't like that my parents had painted his room. My mom froze the first time she heard me say that. Years before we moved in, the house had belonged to an older man named Daniel who had died inside that very room. They had never told me about him. At night, my parents would sometimes hear 2 voices in my room, mine, and a deeper male voice answering back. Once my dad walked in and found me standing in the closet, talking softly to the darkness. When he asked me what I was doing, I answered, "I'm just telling Daniel I'll never leave him." Things escalated quickly. Doors began slamming in the house. Toys moved on their own. My mom once found me drawing pictures of a man with black, empty eyes. Eventually, we moved out of the house. After that, I never spoke of Daniel again. But even now, as an adult, sometimes I wake up from dreams of my childhood bedroom. Daniel is always there, standing in the corner, whispering, "You promised you wouldn't leave me." And our final story is called The Shadow at the Window. When I was 9, my bedroom window faced the backyard. Every night I saw a shadow standing outside. At first, I thought it was just a tree by the fence. But then I noticed the shadow moved swaying when the air was still, inching closer night by night. One evening, I finally told my mom. She checked outside, nothing was there. She even cut the tree down the next week, but the shadow didn't go away. It stayed, watching. Sometimes I'd wake up in the middle of the night, and the shadow would be pressed against the glass, its head tilted at an unnatural angle. Its face wasn't clear, just pale skin and 2 sunken holes where eyes should have been. One night, I decided to be brave. I yanked the curtain wide open. What I saw made my blood run cold. The figure was right there, taller than any man, impossibly thin, with arms that seemed to stretch too far. It leaned close to the glass, and for the first time it smiled, a wide, crooked, unnatural grin. I screamed for my dad. When he rushed in, the figure was gone. He searched the yard, but found nothing. Years later, a neighbor told me something I wish I never knew. The family who lived in our house before us had lost their teenage son. He had been found hanging from the tree in the backyard, the same tree right outside my window. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button below. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment down below, and we'll see you next time.